Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and yes, children of all ages, to this week's installment of Wrestling Rewind here on the newly branded Jeff Meacham Network. Thanks to the gentleman to my left, because that logo just whooped that ass. I got to throw it out there right off the top. I dig it the most. Can't wait to get my hands on a shirt. Just got to take a little longer because some people suck. So what are you going to do? But today is not going to be anywhere near sucky, I don't think, because we are officially young Mr. Gregory Cherry on the road to WrestleMania, baby.
Mm-hmm. And you know, the road to WrestleMania is exciting every year. Obviously, this year, and even a little bit last year, it was a very different road. But right, so it looks like there's going to be fans in attendance at WrestleMania. So that in and of itself should hopefully bring the energy up.
I hope so.
From the Performance Center shows and the Thunderdome shows.
Which, granted, WrestleMania was the first pay-per-view they tried to do under that new format last year, and they did a pretty good job, all things considered. I enjoyed last year's WrestleMania for the most part. Was a little long, yeah, but they did spread it over 2 nights, so it didn't feel like WrestleMania 2016, which I'm almighty. But I enjoyed the format. I almost wish they would do that every year, but then, knowing WWE, they would upsell and charge for both nights separately. So when they come out here in a couple years, I'll be poor till about 2035. So it's rough estimate. But as Vince, so eloquently put it all those years ago, what we have here today is the main event where it all began. You see behind us here on the screen the crowd. This is actually a crowd shot of the main event at Madison Square Garden that we're about to watch here from the very first WrestleMania back in 1985, where a certain other movie first took place. So it's all about 85 around here these days, apparently. Hulk Hogan and Mr. T. Yes, that Mr. T against Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. You've got pomp and circumstance about to happen. No, I don't mean Randy Savage. He'll be there next year. But I did stop the timestamp, which, by the way, is that 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 30 seconds as you prepare to watch this. I was telling Greg off air, this WrestleMania is only 2 hours and 16 minutes long. I would love that right now. These freaking 6-hour days at WrestleMania are killing my ass. So,
I mean, and we thought WrestleMania 4 was long when we did the entire show review of it.
It's funny. You'll note in the poll for this coming week's show, which is now up on my Twitter page, I did not include a WrestleMania 4 match. We already watched them. We already watched them all. If you want to see us review WrestleMania match, go back a year. It's there, I promise. So this week's poll coming up is for WrestleManias 3, 5, 6, and 7. So check out those options. What I'm going to try to do is be as different as possible with the different people in the matches. I wish it was going to go, okay, the best match of every show. Well, then, freaking Randy Savage is on 4 times in one show. That doesn't work because, I like to have a variety. I'm not dissing Randy Savage, just, if my choices are Savage Steamboat, Savage DiBiase, Savage Hogan, Savage Warrior, it's like, well, okay.
I mean, if anything, that's a compliment to Savage for how good he was.
Exactly. And, we can always watch Ricky Steamboat, Randy Savage. That's, I can watch it any day of the week, but I think we already covered that last year.
I feel like we did cover Savage Steamboat
during the infancy of the relaunch. So I think I actually picked Piper and Adonis as the choice for WrestleMania 3, just because it got the most stars besides Savage Steamboat, and it's entertaining as hell. That, and then for WrestleMania 5, I chose Rude and Warrior. I know I put a Warrior match up there that wasn't Randy Savage or Hulk Hogan, so take a breath. It's okay. WrestleMania 6, I believe I picked DiBiase and Jake Roberts for the $1 million title, which only happened on pay-per-view twice, the belt being on the line. So that's kind of cool. And then for 7, I chose the Heart of the Nation against the Nasty Boys. So that'll be coming up. Your choice. By Tuesday night next week, we'll know what we're going to be doing for next week's show. But this week, you guys voted crystal clear for this one. It is the very first WrestleMania main event. It is on the WWE Network under WrestleMania 1, March 31st, 1985. We are at 1 hour, 42 minutes, 30 seconds. And on with the countdown we go. Everybody, remotes ready. 3, 2, 1, play.
You might realize that Jeff didn't ask me where I was in my fandom because I wasn't born yet.
Exactly. I already feel like an old shit as it is on this damn show.
Yeah.
You guys will notice if you watched our or my year-end show at the end of last year, 2020, the pick I chose for Howard here, not Howard, I don't know if this picture itself, but I made sure I chose a picture with the MSG old school drop-down microphone. I think that's a killer look. I love that to pieces. Billy Martin sober for only 5 minutes of the day. Here he comes. He was fired more times than Jim Ross.
Yeah.
By the same boss.
Mm-hmm.
Steinbrenner was just like, all right, dude, 6 is enough. Go away.
Yeah.
Hey, he kept rehiring him. What are you going to do? So, what are you going to do when you have a winner? You know, he comes back, he wins the World Series, then he tanks the next year. It's, you know, it was a pattern with Billy. So, but he did a hell of a job ring announcing. Kind of. I mean, there's definitely a few flubs here, but he does all right.
Yeah.
Pat Patterson in there to referee, one of only 2 times Pat Patterson referees WrestleMania main event.
There you
go. For you trivia kids out there. There you
go. And speaking of
as
trivia,
he moves the belt out of the show. What's that?
Well, I was going to say, speaking of trivia.
Oh, yeah.
At 6 o'clock Eastern, over on the Greg Cherry Brand channel, Hunter Chambliss and Wrestle Talks and Quizlemania host Adam Blampier on WTC.
Man, I'm, you know, you guys know we're editing, we're pre-recording the show, obviously, but I can't wait to get this show up and loaded. That way I can actually watch that match, and then of course I'll be hosting the post game immediately after on this channel, on Greg's channel, and on Aaron's channel. It'll be a tri-branded simulcast, as I put it on my little graphic. So
I did invite Adam to be on the post show, but I know it's really late his time, so don't expect him by any means. But I did put the invitation out there.
Yeah. I actually like the way we're doing this now, where it's going to be you're hosting the matches and I'm hosting the post game. It's kind of like it has actually a decent network feel. It's kind of cool. So, And speaking of cool, just man, Liberace and the Rockettes. Is it getting any more New York than that? I mean, really?
Yeah.
With Billy Martin in the ring, no less, too. So another New York staple.
She just put Sinatra in there, and you got it filled.
Just to say, yeah, you got Frankie in there, and might as well move over Radio City Music Hall.
Liberace, his legs must have got tired halfway through.
Yeah,
because those kicks weren't as high as they were for the first go round.
But he's going for it again. What the hell?
Yeah.
That's too funny. I love the bell he uses to ring the bell. That's hysterical. We're going to see that in a few minutes. That's tremendous. I almost had us watch the YouTube clip of this match because they edit Hogan's entrance, of course, because they can't use Eye of the Tiger. But I figure it's easier for everybody to find online anyway. You just go on the network and you go click to click. People enjoy simplicity, I've noticed. So crazy to think that this takes place March 31st. You know, for those of us that are huge fans of the, oh, here we go, the greatest. On this shot, the guy in the tan shirt with the brown collar, he's like in every early MSG shot. I have no idea who the hell he is. Like, I never found out his name. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't pick him apart from Adam. No idea who he is. But he's in, like, when you see the early MSG shows, he's there, like, every time. So he had to be a favorite of Vince or something. It's funny. I was oh, there you go. There's another famous name.
Jose Torres.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching. I found myself watching the celebrity edition of Legends of Wrestling, the roundtable discussion.
Yeah,
dude, I was convinced DDP was going to slug JR in the face because JR just would not stop harping on the whole David Arquette thing.
Yeah,
just would not get over it. And Dallas is pretty even keel these days. But a few years ago, I guess in the court, man, I was sure he was going to reach to his right and left and just belt JR right in the mouth. Like, jeez. And I find myself going, geez, JR, shut up and let him talk. It's definitely worth a watch if you guys ever want to get some. The thumbnail on the network is
one guy looked like Moxley.
He did, didn't he? Yeah. It's probably a little too early for John to be a ringside at WrestleMania 1.
Probably a little early.
But that's okay. We can still imagine things. What? The mail's already been here and gone. What do you want? Don't you grumble at me. I'll kick your butt. Anyway. I love Roddy's shirt. I want like 20 of them just because.
Such a legendary entrance too, with Piper bobbing his head a little bit, and
oh yeah, he's just all full of himself, and you know what? He had a right to be. Roddy's all jazzed up and freaking, smiling big. Orndorff's just chill. He's like, all right, about to mess shit up here. Even Jesse says 100 times, Orndorff's a dangerous one because you can't get a read on him because he's so stoic and so, just calm almost. There's the ace and the cast.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't heal for about 400 years.
Yeah, WrestleMania 21, he still had it.
I know, right? So at least 20 years right there.
Yeah.
Orndorff with the B-level Ric Flair style robe. Actually, the first Ric Flair figure I ever got on the Jack series was the red Nature Boy robe with that trim, that silver trim. So there you go. I think it was his WrestleMania 8 robe, if I remember right. Now I can't hear a whole lot because I got the audio around, so I don't get pinged. But you can definitely tell when Eye of the Tiger hits. There they go. They're going nuts. That's it. Now, of course, you're watching the network. It's Real American, which is totally fine by me. Don't get me wrong. And here it is. The only time Vince is on camera the whole show. Oh, there he is. There's Vince. Staying in the shadows. Letting the stars have their day.
Lord Alfred Hayes.
Gotta love Lord. Dude, Lord Alfred looks so awkward this whole show. Just sitting there in the gateway, the entryway there, just looking like a fish out of water with a deer in the headlights look on his face. Like, it's too funny. It's so funny. People talk about the Garden, being as electric as it was when Bruno was champion and when Backlund was champion, but it's like you watch these old shots of Hogan in 85 and 84 and even in 86 or whatever. Man, I have not heard a place that loud that I wasn't a part of. I don't think ever. God, they loved him in New York and they loved him in the WWF early on before he became, the politician that we all found out he allegedly was later. God, people just ate him up. He had them, as he said, where the power lies, brother, right here, always, palm of their hand, man, always. It's funny, on that same celebrity show, but on the Legends, Piper was a panelist, and they ask everybody around the table who's their best and worst celebrity. Roddy said the best was Ali, and the worst was T. Always hanging on to that little nugget of kayfabe.
Yeah,
because Mr. T did not get along with Roddy. I mean, there's no other way to say it. They did not get along at all. and Orndorff's going to hit people with a stick. So clearly he's all jazzed up now. Jesus, Paul, relax. Like, you didn't actually see Roddy and Mr. T make peace until that segment WrestleMania 30. And even then, that whole thing, Roddy's like, all disgusted to try to, that's partially a shoot. He could not stand Mr. T the day he died. He could not deal with T. And he felt, like a lot of other people I've heard say since then, felt that T didn't respect the position he was in and the spot he was given. Yes, he got it because he's Mr. T. He's on TV. He's a movie star. Fine. But he didn't show enough respect for the business for everybody else's liking, which, you and I both know. The minute you're in the business, quote unquote, if you're not shaking hands and being respectful, they're going to find a way to ostracize you or flat out whoop your ass.
Yeah.
So. Crazy lighting here. They turned down everything but the main house light, the house lights above the ring back then. Even for a spectacular like this, they still turn the lights down. Pat Patterson went to the Jeff Meacham School of Hair Dye apparently this week. There's no way Pat's hair is actually that color. I call bullcrap. He is no ginger. I don't give a crap what you say. I love how they make a big deal on the tag. Gorilla's pointing out they didn't need a tag. There wasn't contact made yet. It's too funny. T1's in, baby. T1's in. You guys notice I had the green screen on my chair. I was trying a new webcam out that hopefully would solve my green screen problem. It didn't. So once we're done recording this, and we'll probably wait till after I'm done with my whole day, because I've got the post game show, then I've got the panel, the Nerdy Q review to do today. So probably leave it on there all day today. Just not worry about it till bedtime. Very frustrating.
It's amazing to me that like Piper and T didn't get along, and yet they worked 2 WrestleManias together.
Right? Hey, Roddy was always the one who said, if you're going to die, do it in the ring. It's good for business. So if he's going to say that, he's willing to do pretty much anything. Oh, man. Time out.
Yeah.
That fool hit me for real. And Piper points out here, you notice, between him and Mr. T anyway, there's not a punch thrown. There's not a dirty kick. They're either grappling like he just did, or the slap in the face beforehand. But they're not fighting. They're wrestling.
Yeah.
Because Piper knew that T was not going to be able to pull a punch. Because that's just who Mr. T is. He's a fighter from Chicago. So, if you're going to throw a punch, it's going to throw a punch.
Yeah. I mean, he was in Rocky, so.
Yeah.
You wonder how many punches they pulled, if any, on that movie shoot.
Yeah, I mean, from if you hear Sylvester Stallone say it, Hogan nearly killed him in the opening scene with the boxer wrestler thing. So it's, who knows? There's a great shot here. There it is, right there. On the other side of the ring, there's a great shot of that moment just now, with Hogan with his arm up in the air and T with Piper on his shoulders. Iconic WrestleMania shot there.
Yeah. Great
stuff. Love it. And now it's just all broke down to hell.
Mr. T hit in the wasteland on Piper.
Yeah. Okay. Bob, you have to get your boot through the rope before you move, buddy. Just saying. Easy, cowboy. Go with Ali here. Dude, even in 85, even with the Parkinson's setting in, I don't want to take a punch from Muhammad Ali. I'm good on that shit, thank you.
Take a punch from Muhammad Ali, you'll be counting the lights.
Yeah.
If you can see straight.
Until about now.
Yeah.
It'll take me 35 years to wake up. Roddy's down. He's done. I'm over it. If you hear the stories told, like they had to keep telling Ali, dude, relax.
Yeah.
You don't really need to hit him. We don't need that kind of. But see, he's the outside the ring ref. He's trying to get, he's trying to corral the heels. It's like you're actually going to hit Pat Patterson. Give me a break. And see, I was right about the hair. If you look right here in his sideburns area, it's already starting to go gray. So lies. It's crazy when you think about it, how many everybody involved in this match, except for Ali, is in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So I don't want to have inducted Muhammad Ali as a celebrity inductee. He should have been the first one, to be perfectly honest with you, I feel, besides T. I mean, I get why they did it with Rose because they were trying to make a point with Pete and Major League Baseball. But when you talk about celebrities at WrestleMania, like everybody here should be first. T and Lee and even the Mirachi. He was only there one time, but still. He was a huge part of the marketing of this show. So
I'm trying to think what year Orndorff got inducted.
2005, baby, along with everybody else. Piper and Hogan.
I wasn't sure if it was 04 or 05. I was like, I guess 05 would have made sense because Piper and Hogan went in that year too. So,
right. No, I was there for Paul's induction. That was something.
And Mr. T got inducted 2014.
Well, technically, his speech is still going on as we speak, but Kane's going to interrupt any time now. That was a long show that year. I'm glad I wasn't in New Orleans for that one. Wow, my goodness.
Whoa.
That was a rough weekend because the Hall of Fame was kind of rough, and of course the streak got broken the next night. So
yeah,
not a good weekend. I thought I turned that thing off. What the gross? Jeez. Well, now see, this is how you know they're just kind of winging it here. Because chair to the back, that's DQ. Like that's a complete DQ, and they're just like whatever. Go ahead.
Well, Patterson's like, I was Intercontinental Champion. Yeah, whatever. Do what you want.
That's right.
It's like the NFL officials in that NFC Championship game. It's like, oh yeah, we're just not gonna call anything until the very end. Tell me I'm wrong.
I can't. It's so funny. Like we all look forward to football every year. I cannot wait till Sunday night at 11:59 because then the football season's over and I'm done with this shit. It's such a craptastic year for everybody. It's like
the last Steelers lost to the Browns in the playoffs. Like that never happened before.
I know.
I don't know how to process it.
What sucks is I would have been okay with it if the Browns actually gone on.
They almost did, though.
What's that?
The goofy ass fumble call.
I know. It was such a bad football year for all of us at one point or another. Just the last parts of 2020 hanging on to our balls. It's like, all right, go away. We're good. Thanks. Stay away for good. The good part is after the end of the next football season, we get the XFL back. So that's cool. Oh, speaking of cool, how jacked was Carlito this week?
I mean, he's in shape. I mean, if they continually bring back ruthless aggression people every Rumble, Kennedy's got to be next year.
Dude, it has to be.
It's got to be Kennedy.
Because Ken's still in ridiculous shape himself. I mean, he's got a little bit more of that Green Bay beer gut than he used to, but yeah, he can out wrestle half these kids.
And he's so good on the mic.
Oh, I know. If the NWA is going to continue to stutter step and not do anything, then Ken's got to come back. He has to.
He has to. Like, hopefully enough time has passed where Orton's gotten over what happened.
Right. Yeah. Well,
You're like, geez, it's been 13 years. Put it behind you.
Randy seems like he has changed for the better. And I don't know a lot of people that know Randy, but I do know enough people that know Randy to tell me that he's definitely not the person he was back then. Yeah. The second marriage is definitely part of that. Being a dad's definitely part of that. Mm-hmm. So hopefully if they do make the overtures to Kennedy and they involve Randy in the discussion, hopefully it'll be enough water under the bridge we can get him back. Because, like you said, very few people, even now in the company, can touch Ken Anderson on the mic. Just by far. And I personally feel that Howard Finkel's passing should have been a huge part of him coming back because he's the only one that used the Think mic. Mm-hmm. So. Like this year's Rumble would have been the perfect time for that, in my opinion. But
next year's Rumble probably, and the reason why is I feel like his entrance needs the crowd,
right? And also, there was enough surprise, like one-timers and a couple surprise returns this year, where it felt balanced this time. I mean, you had Carlito, you had Hurricane, which he does every year, it seems now. You had Christian come back, which I thought that caught me by surprise. That was so awesome.
Dare I say it reeked of awesomeness.
Yes, I was just gonna say, dude. Yeah. Yeah. If I got asked yesterday on using in your absence, of doing the Greg Cherry show about ENC uniting in a tag title shot. I'm like, you know what? If Edge doesn't become champion at Mania, I'm okay with that. Let Edge and Christian have one more run. Hell, if Billy Gunn wasn't so far deep into the AEW land, I'd like to see ENC versus the Outlaws one more time. That's Attitude Era's dream match on steroids there, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because you figure Bubba is not going to come back to the company. No. Devon's producing. He's very happy doing that, by the way.
Well, Devon also just had a stroke, so it's probably not a good idea.
Oh, I didn't know that. Jeez, wow, that sucks.
Yeah.
My bad, y'all. And then, of course, Matt and Jeff are in different companies, so you can't really have the TLC dream if you want to do that, which we all know Devon doesn't want to do that anymore. But we didn't really got ENC and the Outlaws, I don't think, a whole lot. Because by the time they were champions and really starting to form their own, Billy was hurt and the Outlaws broke up. Yeah. So, anyway. Just trying to see. It's interesting that you look back at these old WrestleManias. Like, usually when you see like the old shots, the old crowd, or whatever, you can definitely tell you can tell you're in the 80s by a lot of things. There's not a whole lot of 80s tells in the crowd here. Like, they don't show a lot of the crowd shots, so you can't really, make it out like you could. Jeez, snuck a headbutt. Not a good look. Snuck a headbutts are dangerous anyway.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Jeez. Mr. T almost misses Q there for the record. Bink. Now, here's my thing. All this shit's going on. All Pat sees is somebody's down, can't fall. It's like, dude, there's like 20 people in the ring, Pat. Pat's referee was definitely banana. Oh, man, the old school Hulk foam fingers. There you go. I need to get me one of those for sure. It's funny, the way he's sweaty right now, it doesn't look like a complete nasty ball on top like it did later. Oh, jeez.
Piper just leveled Patterson.
He did. He knocked it the hell out. Dude, you know what? That guy in the chain reminds me of Dillinger. Like, he's trying to keep the peace, and he's not doing a good job.
No.
Oh, man. There we go. There's the announcement. And easy, Paul. It's at least 3-on-1 there, Paul. Relax.
Yeah.
4 if you can, Ali. He's right by Ali, too. I hate it, but it's so hard to see Jimmy Snuka now.
Yeah.
Damn dark side of the ring. Oh, well. I did watch WrestleMania 7 yesterday, though, and saw the streak begin. So that was a cool recall moment for me. I think 7 is underrated, and maybe I'm alone there, but I actually like WrestleMania. I mean, yeah, it's my first one I ever saw, so of course that's for me anyway. But I think the card and the actual match quality is pretty underrated for what it was. So.
I wonder if I'm going to do a similar series like I did with a Rumble with other matches.
Like maybe WrestleMania main events or Chamber or Hell in a Cell or
something like that.
That'd be cool. Yep, that's the one gimmick match I haven't been in person for that I still want to see, and that's Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, I haven't been Elimination Chamber either.
I mean, granted, Hell in a Cell isn't what it was anymore, but neither is Chamber. So
yeah.
And I still have yet to be in person for a Rumble. I'm working on it, hoping it comes close-ish soon. Yeah. And that's the last one of the big 4. Then I'm good to go.
I just need a Survivor Series.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame we couldn't get you out here for 18. That was a very interesting show for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
The whole weekend was interesting. That's for damn sure. Crazy. Anyway, if you're still watching the network, God bless you. Let's see where we're at here. I'll let it keep playing, but you guys can watch us too. It's up to you guys, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So, as I said, next week here on Rewind, we're going to be watching your guys' choices. Up on the poll right now over at twitter.com/_ Jeff Meacham, my official Twitter page. You can choose from the hair versus hair, Roddy Piper, Adrian Giannis match, WrestleMania 3, the Intercontinental title match between Ravishing Rick Rude and the champion, the Ultimate Warrior, for WrestleMania 5, the $1 Million Belts match, which actually it was a thing in WrestleMania 6, DiBiase defending against Jake the Snake Roberts, and WrestleMania 7's World Tag Team title match, the Hearts defending against the Nasty Boys. Those are your choices. The poll goes until Tuesday night at midnight or Wednesday, however you want to phrase it. That way Greg and I can probably hopefully record Wednesday next week, because as we're recording this right now, I've got an hour and a half to edit this damn thing and get it up. So lucky it's only a 30-minute show or 35-minute show.
Yeah.
So don't forget, coming up right now at right around 6 o'clock Eastern, so not too far off from where you guys are watching this right now, the probably the biggest match of the first round besides mine. I'm not trying to brag my own damn self, but I'd say this is probably the biggest match besides mine in the first round.
Mm-hmm. Adam Blampier of Wrestle Talk and the Quizlemania host takes on Combat Wrestling Trivia's Hunter Chambliss in the first round. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. It's so cool that, I get a chance to work with the Wrestle Talk guys, even if it's just this. And then after the tournaments, nothing else comes of it. It's still a cool experience. And
it is.
Not spoiling anything that happens in this match or the match with Louis Dangoor later on this season. It's just a cool opportunity. I personally want to thank the nearly 100+ subscribers that have subscribed to the Greg Cherry brand just in the last 24 hours.
We appreciate that. We really do, you guys.
Very much do. And thank you, Adam, for making the plug multiple times during Quizlemania yesterday. I appreciate that as well. So hopefully that'll be a good sign for the remainder of the tournament and for hopefully future opportunities for the greatest wrestling trivia mind ever. Buy the shirt.
I was going to say, hopefully Greg Cherry's name being on Quizlemania will lead to Cherry for Quizlemania. Hopefully.
We will see.
But in the meantime, you can buy that shirt, which tells you he's the greatest wrestling trivia mind ever. You can buy this shirt over at our Teespring stores. Great trade brand. Jeff Meacham Network. Very simple. Stay tuned. Like I said, coming up here at the top of the hour will be the latest edition of the Championship Contenders Tournament in the NoDQ.com Wrestling Trivia Challenge, hosted by this guy because he is the champ and nobody can stop him. So, okay, you host. Stop beating people. Like, no. He's the Ken Jennings. Stop.
Hey, by the time the tournament's over, this will be a 3+ year reign, regardless of what happens in the championship match. So
tremendous. Exactly.
Honestly, at this point, I have beaten so many people. I've had 36 successful defenses with this thing. Honestly, at this point, we might just do tournaments from here on out. Like do 2 a year. Do 2 tournaments a year and call it good.
Because honestly, again, people were up my ass all season. He never defended. It's like, okay, according to the quote unquote official wrestling rules, once a month, every 30 days. If he has 36 title defenses, he's good for 3 years in the can. So piss off a lot of you.
Yeah. And really, how many times do I have to defend it for you people to be happy?
Seriously.
It's like, of all the people that I've beaten, some of them I've slaughtered, and some of them I've escaped.
Right.
But the fact is, at the end of the day, this lovely thing has been on my shoulder for over 1,050 days at this point.
Banana, as Pat would say. So, the WTC coming up at 6, post game with me after, and Greg, of course, afterwards. And then at 7 o'clock, 4 o'clock Pacific, the No DQ review today. So it's a busy day for good old JM, a busy day across all our channels. We will see you next time right here on Wrestling Rewind.